Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Marcella Riddick.
I'm Stevie Gray.
And we're getting on the road today. Thanks for joining us.
Let's do it. Today we are in Great Basin National Park in Nevada. It is the only national park in this state. It was established in 1986, so fairly recently, but it is quite beautiful up here. Our lips are mad chapped because
Correction, Stevie's lips are mad chapped.
Yeah, we're up at 10,000 feet right now, and we were below sea level yesterday in Death Valley, so it's been quite the adventure for our bodies adjusting to altitude.
I think I know that there's some sort of thing that can happen in your body when you do elevation too quickly, and obviously it's not 12 hours, but I was thinking about that yesterday as we were coming up. We
were originally going to do an episode in Death Valley, but we ended up listening to Kendrick Lamar's new album instead. It just wasn't the time, and so we wanted to have the right intentions. So we're doing it now at 7 in the morning, going down.
Yeah, we just had not even a hike, we had a nature stroll through Wheeler Peak, or the beginning of Wheeler Peak. It's our first glacier that we've ever seen, which is super cool.
We saw somebody up there yesterday. We're going to go to a different outlook to try to see. We didn't go to it yesterday, so we're all going to find out what it looks like. But there's one outlook that we'll pass in a bit, and there are these little binoculars?
Binoculars? No.
Monocular? It was the one.
Telescope? Question mark?
One of those things with the eyepiece where you can look at like sites of interest at different parks. One of those, and we saw somebody standing on top of Wheeler Peak.
It's pretty long. It said it would take you about 8 to 10 hours to do the full thing. We also have our buddy Walter here, so big hikes aren't in the agenda for this trip. But
definitely be a place to come back to, though.
Yes, it's pretty pristine. We really got lucky. We got one of the last camping spots in Upper Lehman Campground last night, which was kind of nerve-wracking, but it's absolutely beautiful. The bathrooms are super clean. There's toilet paper, the creeks, and there's a lot of restoration areas down in there. So you can see that even though it's a newer park, or maybe because it's a newer park, there's a lot of effort being put into keeping it super, super nice.
It's also fairly inaccessible, I would say, if you've never driven through Nevada before. We had heard from some people that driving through Nevada isn't the most interesting experience. We thought it was pretty cool. But we're about 300 miles north of Las Vegas and right at the border on the western side of Utah. And so, depending on where you're coming from, Great Basin might be quite a journey for you, but we would highly recommend it because it's so slept on to some extent. There's only 3 million people in the state of Nevada, which we learned yesterday. Which I just didn't know. I don't know why that's relevant, but that's pretty interesting.
We learned a lot of fun facts from the different brochures and the slight moments of internet as we've been driving through all these different mountains and plains. So we did a little bit of research for y'all about Nevada and the area and basin and all that fun stuff.
Yes. So this land was originally home to the Washoe, Shoshone, Ute, Paiute, and Goshute tribes.
And I think we talked about it in our intro episode, but it's really important for us to acknowledge the land that we're driving on and through, just to have not to have creative dialogue, to have an important dialogue while presenting our creative thoughts through this drive. And so being in nature is a huge source of creativity for us, and acknowledging the people that came from this land and honored this land before us is important.
Definitely. We were talking about how different brochures will mention that history. This one, for example, another piece of history about this national park and the tribes that were here before and are still here, is Lehman Caves. And Lehman Caves was established as a national monument in the 20s, before this was a national park, but it's about 2-mile loop cave system that's 550 million years old. But the caves themselves were formed during the Pleistocene, the Ice Age, when everything was kind of melting. It kind of smoothed out all the rock, and so there are all these really cool stalagmites and stalactites that we can't go see because we have a dog.
Guy.
So we had talked about potentially leaving him at the front desk, but
Everybody loves Walter. I think
We
they'd
will
be okay with it.
not.
But we're actually on our way down to Lehman Caves. We'll stop by Mather Overlook, but the brochure that we went and got at the visitor center that wasn't open has this lovely sentence about how the indigenous people knew about the caves before all of the settlers and ranchers
And miners.
And miners, sorry, can't forget them.
Gold was found here in the 1800s. Similar era of all the gold being rushed. The gold rush.
The gold rush.
And so there was a huge movement of colonizers into many of the western states.
So not only do the indigenous people know about this land and these beautiful spaces and places, they cared for these land and these beautiful places and spaces. So we think it's only right to honor them as we start this drive.
Yeah, at the very least, we need to learn about it and talk about it. It's an important piece of history.
But Lehman Caves should be interesting. So there's actually 2 visitor centers as you're coming into Great Basin. One down near the town of Baker. Nevada.
Small town. Very small town.
Yeah, and so that beginning visitor center it's really cool. It was closed.
Yeah, so
Google said it closed at 4:30. The internet said that it was
at 5.
Closed at 5.
And then the National Parks app said it's closed every day of the week.
So we don't know when that visitor center is open.
But the paper sign on the door said it's only closed on Mondays, which was yesterday. So unfortunately, we came at the wrong time apparently to go to the visitor center.
But also we're in Baker, Nevada, and in this national park. We're actually still on Pacific time, which was throwing us off a little bit.
Definitely.
And so it's 7:53. We'll see if the visitor center at Lehman opens at 8, because that's what they said.
But for some reason my phone says it's 8:53, which I've been my phone automatically switched to a different time zone.
But my phone didn't switch time zones.
It is a time right now in the morning.
Time is relevant, days are irrelevant.
But we got 10 hours to do today.
At least.
At least. We're heading up to Idaho today, which should be beautiful. We're excited to find potentially some BLM land, and I knew what BLM land was, but I didn't know that it stood for Bureau of Land Management. And so BLM land is land that you can just kind of do anything on to some extent.
That's not true. That's kind of fake news.
You can kind of just pull up and sleep there is more of what I'm saying.
Please do your research of the rules of BLM land before you go camp on BLM land. We are not experts. But we also don't do fires and we're not hunting. So a lot of stuff is just where can we park and not bother people so we can post up with this setup behind us.
Yep, eat some granola bars and pet our dog in peace.
Dang, I wanted to eat a granola bar before we started this.
It would be rude to eat a granola with the mics.
Yes, oh God, that's a
different
type of ASMR for folks.
So cool. What else are we talking about today? Because we're kind of focusing today on national parks, because this 20-day road trip, we're kind of trying to hit as many as we possibly can. And so we've only gone through 2 so far, but both have been amazing.
I'm actually laughing right now because I don't know if this is actually infringing upon any type of camera angle of our America the Beautiful pass hanging on our rear view mirror.
Oh, here,
so we're going to move that
let's
just in
take
case.
It off.
Yeah,
the nice thing about GoPros is you have no idea what the shot looks like until later. So.
But that is the America the Beautiful pass, and we talked a little bit about our 10th anniversary trip in our intro episode, but we actually started that trip by going out into Joshua Tree, and that's one of our favorite national parks. And
it's close too. It's one of the closest to Los Angeles County.
Just about 2 hours depending on when you go. And we were driving through and Stevie was like, Marcella, like, you can't just like drive through the park. I'm like, I don't know, it's fine. We'll see something at the other exit.
Here's the Overlook.
Yeah, here's Mather Overlook that we're gonna try to check out real quick.
Here's a great view of the mountain.
Yeah, look at that.
Gosh, it's beautiful up here. Truly, when you're driving in here, you're going through a lot of desert, and so these mountains right here kind of just come out of nowhere, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Bumpy road. And I keep holding this battery that is currently charging the GoPros. I don't know if it looks like I'm like afraid of your driving or something. I'm like holding the dashboard, but there's like we'll talk about gear in a little while. Maybe in a different episode, because today we're focused on national parks, but we have this battery that we got It's a Jackery. It's pretty affordable. Got online.
Oh, was it? That thing was like $250.
More affordable than other batteries that we could
That's
find.
fair.
And so we pulled up. The GoPros weren't charged. I don't know what happened. I think I might have.
The power strip probably wasn't plugged in.
Yeah, something
Anyway,
like that.
Anyway, so eventually, whoa, it's got like a
little
like a mold of the bowl. I don't know what that's called.
the mountain.
Mather was probably some white dude.
Don't make assumptions, Riddick.
I'm making assumptions. Dang, I was trying to see. The foundation of national parks established the policies under which its area shall be developed and conserved. Dude, can you read that?
No, it's fine. But there's a little plaque of Mather there.
His name is Stephen Tink Mather. Let me tell you.
T-Y-N-G?
It looks like T-Y-N-C. Anyway, probably some white dude. Hope maybe he did some cool science things.
We'll leave those questions to be answered by the audience.
Yeah.
Look up for yourself. What is the history of Mr. Mather and
Mr. Mather.
Great Basin National Park?
It's probably messy, just a heads up. Anywho. Sorry, Mather, if you're a cool guy, but you know.
So let's talk about some national parks.
Yes, we finally got the America the Beautiful Pass. So we got all the way through Joshua Tree because Stevie and I decided to drive through Joshua Tree randomly one Monday before class. And we got an America the Beautiful Pass and said, okay, we have a year. How many national parks can we get through? And that kind of started the initial brainstorming for what this trip has developed into. And even since we did our intro episode 2 weeks ago, this trip has changed so much.
Yes, our stint in Idaho became a real stint and not 7 days.
Yes.
So now we are spending about a day in Idaho and then going up to Glacier National Park for about 3 days now, which is exactly as long as we had hoped we'd be able to go, but weren't going to be able to go initially. So now it actually kind of works out in our favor.
But we are also learning that stuff always changes, and so we have a post-it with our general itinerary that probably will change at some point in time.
Yeah.
But we are grateful for the opportunity to spend more time with our friends in Colorado.
Yeah, we'll be spending about 5 days there.
At least.
Which will be really fun. Excited to get some classic food. Which I was like, we could go on a total food tangent.
Yeah, no food tangent.
I'll hold off
Because then I'm going to get hungry.
Yeah, we talk about food
all the time.
Pretty often.
We love food.
Food is awesome.
Anywho. Joshua Tree National Park was our first national park together.
Yeah, we went at the end of high school.
Our first trip.
2016? Yeah, senior year of high school, 2016.
We had a blast.
Yeah, it's a really great spot if you kind of want to just go, zone out, reset, sit in a desert for a couple days. And it's absolutely stunning.
I have a friend who just did a solo camping trip in Joshua Tree. So jealous. I want to go.
It's great to go. We went in December during the winter, and it was
incredible.
It was probably my favorite time that I've been. It's super. There's something so cool about being there and wearing winter gear. I don't know. I also love an excuse to wear winter gear, which is something we've talked about on this trip. Is we're going back in time to some extent in terms of the seasons. We're following the cold, and so it's cool because we started in a desert, and so our first day it was nearly 100 degrees, and then yesterday it was getting pretty hot in Death Valley too, and then we came up here and last night it hit 40 degrees, and it'll get even colder the further north we go. Glacier National Park might be snowed out, so we'll find out.
It technically doesn't open until the end of next week, so we don't have to get permits or anything for the drives, but if it snowed recent enough or in the next couple days, we may not be able to get through the roads, which would be kind of sad. But we're prepared to get chains, and we have a gear haul planned for Thursday.
There's an REI sale happening.
On Thursday.
We were gifted an REI gift card for our graduation.
Yeah, so we'll do gear chats after the REI haul. But we are prepared to get snow chains.
Yes.
Do you know how to put those on? I know how to put those on.
I have no idea how to put those on.
You have no idea? Okay, well,
I drove in the snow for a couple years
But on
commuting.
Like roads.
Yeah, but I probably need to change at one point.
Chains are cool.
What other national parks
have we been to?
Yes, but what are like top tier national parks?
Dude, we can't say that because we haven't seen that many. Like we're not.
From what we've seen, what are your top?
Okay, so Joshua Tree we've been to, Great Basin National Park we've been to, Death Valley National Park we've been to,
Moab, or Red Rock, Arches National Park. That's what
it's called.
Is that what it's called? Yep.
Okay, you've been in it a little bit more than me.
That's beautiful.
It was pretty cool. Grand Canyon.
Yep, Grand Canyon, Rocky Mountain.
Rocky Mountain, that's 6.
I feel like we're forgetting a couple.
Probably.
What are the ones in? Have you been to Zion before? Or
I have. I've been to Bryce, which we're gonna go to on the end of this trip.
Yes. Where else? White Sands National Park in New Mexico.
Yeah, you went to White Sands.
That's a great park.
We've driven through parks and stuff,
Yes.
and through a bunch of different national forests and all that good stuff. But I think of the national parks that's up there. Is Niagara Falls? No, I haven't even been there. I was gonna ask if Niagara Falls was a national park, but I haven't been there, so it doesn't really matter.
Cool. But we've been to a few pretty different ones in terms of landscape. This one is up here for me. When we were driving in, I was like, this is a pretty cool park, I guess.
I think it's because it's quiet and it's different.
Yeah, it is.
Not a lot of people up here.
And just being able, I think the unique thing, as you can see, is looking out at the desert from this glacier is really fun. Like I could do that. I could just sit here all day and just stare at this mountain.
We had a really long stretch today, but we didn't want to leave too early. And so finding the balance of when we drive versus when we exist in parks has been not a challenge, just an adventure figuring out, like a puzzle of like when do we make up time and when do we hang out and how do we explore.
So we're trying to cover a lot of ground.
Yep.
And so we've been talking about this with a couple of our outdoorsy friends, but there really is only so much you can do at a national park if you're just driving through. Like Death Valley, we just drove through, and I think that was a good national park to not get out in.
Well, not get out in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and so that was a good one to kind of just see this amazing valley and change altitude real quick and
yeah,
see
we went from
desert.
like 4,000 feet to sea level to 4,000 feet to sea level all within like 2 hours.
My ears were exploding the whole time. But this park is, I'm really liking it. I'd love to come back here and spend like 4 or 5 days.
Definitely.
Because there's a lot of, we walked on a trail this morning but didn't go too far towards the peak at the 10,000 feet, 10,000 foot mark. And it was really fun. There's still snow up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to make some snowballs and threw them at trees.
Yes.
As you do.
We're not children.
No, not at all.
Walter likes the snow sometimes, but he doesn't have his booties, so he didn't get
He
to play
kicks
in the
them
snow.
off immediately.
Yes.
This dog, I don't know if it's the way he's shaped or what, but he will throw off his shoes immediately.
I feel like maybe dogs aren't supposed to wear booties.
That's fair. I guess we're not supposed to wear shoes either.
That's not what I said. But Walter, he's having a very okay time back there. He's adjusting. He loves hanging out with us. And so that I always know. He's eating and drinking normally, for anybody who's wondering about Walter's well-being. But we had to majorly block this little middle section because Walter loves running into our laps, which is not safe when driving down mountains.
Yes, but he is learning. I think yesterday was a bit of a struggle. We had to like really set up a fort to keep him out of here. But right now he's chilling. I think
He's doing good.
He learns very quickly. And I appreciate that about him. And he's truly, he's the only dog I've ever had. But he's the best dog I've ever met in terms of his temperament.
He made this really sweet elderly couple. We stopped in Death Valley to get a picture of a map to make sure we weren't going to run out of gas. And this couple was at the same Overlook, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, look at your dog. He's so cute. We miss our dog so much." And apparently they had just lost their dog, which I know that pain a little bit. I know Stevie doesn't, but losing your best friend is kind of tough in them nearly crying over my boy and Walter just being the sweetest was a wholesome moment. And I think that as dog mom, watching him run around in the desert and watching him run around and jump up on stuff on trails, it was super exciting to see him kind of embrace it all, even though he's kind of sick of being in the car.
This trip is also a huge throwback for us too, because we got Walter in 2017 and then he was unplanned, and so we had mapped out this whole long road trip where we were going to go to the Grand Canyon and hit up a bunch of different spots along the way to our school in Colorado, and then we had to plan him into the plan, and he ended up being able to see the Grand Canyon with me for the first time. And so it's fun to get to keep exploring new national parks with this guy. I don't know what he thinks about them.
He had a different sweater on than that first one.
Oh, that's true. That was his gray
big
sweater.
Gray sweater, yeah. This one's kind of cool.
Yeah. But he's been doing well, and we've been keeping him in the front too. That was
when
something
we sleep,
else.
Yeah, we aren't sleeping in the back with the dog.
That was something I was quite concerned about.
So we big bundled him up. It only got down to like 42-ish last night.
Yeah.
So
And it was pretty nice.
It was nice.
There's also a creek, the Upper Lehman campsite, which we were at and we'll pass by soon. There's a creek that runs through it, and it was a restoration project. I saw a snake, which was really cool. And a wild turkey. This park has wild turkeys, which is the coolest thing ever. I've never seen a wild turkey before.
I'm cooking dinner and a giant turkey starts walking through the campground. I said, wow, Stevie's really missing this turkey right now.
I'm so glad I made it back in time. That really, I think that was the moment I was like, okay, this national park is top tier. It's so cool. But, good stuff. But there's a creek that runs through the Upper Lehman campground, and so we had our windows cracked all night with our little mosquito net things to keep airflow. We have, again, we'll talk about it in the kind of gear episode, but we could hear the creek all night, and it was
very relaxing.
A great sound to fall asleep to, for sure.
That ambient noise.
Yes. And we're sleeping pretty well.
Yeah. So night two on the platform, going well.
The old way we slept in the car was efficient to some extent. It was like a blow-up mattress. We didn't have the platform, so it's like you throw the seats down, blow up the mattress. But something I think we've benefited from is having two separate backpacking sleeping pads, and so we can both have our own kind of space that's connected, but if one of us moves on our like air mattress, the other person doesn't flop around. And so I move a lot in my sleep, so I'm sure it's probably been a better experience for you all around, that I'm not impacting your experience as much. But it's been nice. This platform really did make a huge difference.
And so that is one of the things that we did in the 2 weeks between intro episode to episode 1, was build this platform. I finished my last final of school ever and went and sat in the garage and played with some wood for the next 2 days to make that happen, which is so cool.
Pretty proud of us.
We built that with our 2 hands. We had no idea what we were doing. Pretty straightforward. We'll link the video of the...
Yeah, we did not design this. It's basically like building a Lego set. I'm like, I didn't really do the creative work to make this happen. But
in between all the lumber, the hardware, the carpet, all the things to build the platform, it was less than like $200, which is pretty nuts when you think about the price of tents and camping gear in terms of a hotel. In 2 nights, it's already paid for itself, you know?
Yep.
And it also gives us all the storage too. So it's just all the above. We've been planning this for a while, and we'll talk about gear and our setup, and we love tweaking the things because it's been 2 days now, and so we're moving stuff and figuring it all out and what works and what goes where. It's a good time.
So what other tangents can we go on? We had, to be fully transparent,
Yeah.
we had a plan of what we were going to talk about today.
And I think we did most of it. What did we forget?
Dude.
What?
We got it all.
We got it all.
Yeah, but what do you want to talk about? Let's go on some tangents.
Well, I really don't want to talk about food, but when we were driving through Nevada, that's where we are still, we stopped at this gas station. Gas is crazy. Fun fact everywhere. I think the lowest we paid for gas is $4.30.
That was in Nevada.
Yesterday. And so we go into this gas station, we go to the bathroom, nice bathroom, get some water, and we get these chicken tenders.
They were like Cajun.
They smell so good.
Cajun seasoned
chicken tenders in the middle of Nevada. I was like, okay. And so we get there, and I said, can I have a 4-piece, please? Because we didn't want anything crazy, because I had a whole plan for my mac and cheese later. And the woman at the counter was like, hey, do you want an extra chicken tender, or do you want a biscuit? And I was like, I want a biscuit, you know? And we get in the car, and this thing is like a blueberry biscuit scone situation.
It was really good.
It was so weird, though. I've never heard of that combination.
Of fried chicken and blueberry biscuit.
Yeah.
It worked, though.
It worked.
I have to say, the next time I have fried chicken with a normal biscuit, I might be like, man, gotta hit up that gas station again. But that was okay.
What?
Is it Ellie or Eli?
It was Ellie, because their little tagline was, it's not it's not just elevated, it's elevated. So I think it's Ellie.
Well, there's a small town in Nevada on the way here called Ellie. It's an interesting place.
It was a little special. Some loud signs.
On nearly everything. The gas station, restaurants, homes, cars. Yeah. It's an interesting state. And I'm glad, because we'd never really been through here other than going through Vegas, which isn't much of Nevada at all. It's a very small strip if you're going to Colorado from California. And so there's so much of the state that I'd never seen before. It's beautiful. It's reminds me of some parts of, feels like a combination of parts of Colorado and Wyoming and even Utah or Arizona with the different color rocks.
It's like we're in the American West, dude.
Borders are made up.
I am also working on my internal biases going into all of these smaller towns. Obviously, my lived experiences have lended me to some unfortunate experiences just in smaller towns and all that good stuff, but I'm trying to work through that, because I know not all small towns are bad, and not all people in all small towns are bad, because that's reductionist, isn't that the word?
Yeah, I think that's the word.
Generalizing.
Oh,
that's cool. So this is the backside of where we just came from.
Yes, and there's a bunch more campgrounds to the left on those other peaks all throughout the park. And so, again, with our conversations with outdoorsy friends of mine, there's only so much you can do in a national park in a day or a night when you're kind of just hugging the road. So it's exciting to check these places out, to know that you can come back and basically have a lifetime worth of experiences at one park, which is kind of why I want to see all of them and scratch the surface, because I don't know if I'll live long enough to come here to just one park at a time and see everything. I'd rather see them all, but I'm sure there's some incredible hikes in here.
But as we were driving by the Eastern Sierra, we were talking about how you could go into the Eastern Sierras every day of your life for the rest. Yeah, and you cannot see everything, because it's such a special place, and all of these are such special places. But I think we like the speed of driving. That's part of why we like the road trips. So
Yeah.
It's not too fast. It's not like we're flying over them and not knowing what's here. But
And you have the autonomy to go where you want to go,
Yeah.
which is nice.
But we don't get to engage with the people in these places as much, and engage with the forests as much.
That's true.
Okay, this is the
Lehman Caves Visitor Center.
There's an amphitheater. Yeah, let's go there.
Astronomy Amphitheater. And so this is something important to mention.
What?
Let me pull it up on the Great Basin
Little pamphlet?
pamphlet. So,
Go ahead.
no, go for it.
I was saying that we were talking about how these pamphlets should just be on an app, and so we downloaded the National Parks app, and it was not.
It's a very okay app.
Yeah.
It's a very okay app. What I wanted to mention was that, speaking of astronomy again,
Oh, yes.
I don't know the exact terminology, but they're basically designated dark regions where light pollution is as minimal as possible, so the night sky is actually visible in the way that it always was before light pollution was a thing. And so this park is one of those places, and the night sky here is absolutely incredible.
It was pretty cool.
Because, I was going to say Joshua Tree is similar in the sense that the night sky is immaculate, but the last time we were there with other campers in mind, it was pretty light polluted.
But we also stayed in a campsite that was pretty close to the edge of the park.
That's true. It was closer to residential stuff.
So you couldn't see the amphitheater from the road. So that's why we just did that little loop. But
Trying to see if there's any more fun facts on here that we can throw in.
we can throw to the side.
From this pamphlet. Oh, the oldest non-clonal organism
Yes.
was
The Bristol cone pine.
was discovered here. And so it was 5,000 years old. It was ended up being cut down in 1964 by a grad student to be researched, and they called it Prometheus. Yeah, cool stuff. Like what else? I feel like
There's a whole grove of the crystal cones that are surrounding the peak, and so it's really cool stuff. These things have all of the, what is it called? Ecology of the area.
But these are ancient trees. I mean,
love
this is
old trees.
effectively an old growth forest, which
Is that true? Did it say it in there? Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Sweet. Figured I'd park and try to see if the GoPro could capture that valley, but this is Lehman Caves Visitor Center, and Lehman Caves are somewhere here, and we'll come back one day because Walter can't cave.
Walter cannot cave.
He can hang, but he can't cave.
He can't
so.
cave. It's an unfortunate thing, and I understand why dogs aren't allowed in many places, because dogs, at least this dog, I can speak for him, he's pretty stinky. And so I wouldn't want to be in a enclosed cave with this dog, because he can diarrhea at any moment.
Yeah, Walter gets nervous, poops, and he'll just, like, shit himself.
But we have his backpack.
Yes.
And that, again, when we were initially planning this whole trip, I was very apprehensive to bring the dog. And it grew on me because, I mean, he's our son.
He's the best.
He's our son. It's a family road trip. We got to bring him. He's basically an infant, and so we carry him in that backpack like a little baby. And we have baby wipes.
Yeah, we have baby wipes. We have baby wipes for all of us. But
you know what? Let's talk about this right now.
we found some baby wipes that are.
I won't show the logo.
You won't show the logo, but it says 99.9% water on them.
99.9%.
Not point.
So one of them says 99.9, one of them says 99.9. That might just be a regional thing.
What?
Yeah.
Anywho, we got these wipes because it said they were only water. And because I don't like all that.
It says just two ingredients.
Just two ingredients. And so it says water 99.9%. Plant-based.
Plastic-free.
Which, is that true? That container's not plastic?
Well, see, here's where they can really play around with wording here, because it says, and a drop of fruit extract, and I'm like, is that per wipe? Is that on top of all the wipes? How does that work?
And
We don't know.
Grapefruit seed oil extract.
Yes.
That is dropped on them.
They're biodegradable wipes, and again, with wording on these kinds of packages, does that mean biodegradable in 200 years? Does it mean biodegradable in 6 months? We don't know. But these are pretty good wipes.
Yeah.
There's 60 in a pack. But the question I posed while we were in the desert was, if you were in a survival situation,
Could you eat the wipe?
Could you eat the wipe?
You can't eat the wipe.
It's 99.9% water.
We talked about this.
Would the 1% kill you?
The solution is 99.9% water. Bro, you can't eat the wipe.
I'm not going to eat the white, I promise.
But those wipes are pretty legit. Grateful for them because we don't have a shower.
Yeah, that's something we've been planning on getting is a camping shower that's a little bit more environmentally friendly and long-lasting, that isn't kind of just like a tube of plastic that will immediately grow its own ecosystem when we're not using it. And so that's something we're potentially planning on getting this week. So far, we've been faring pretty well, but I don't like the fact that we're going through so many wipes. We've had that one pack. We're more than halfway through it.
And it's been like 3 days.
It's been 3 days. And we're going to have a few different days where we'll be able to shower, so we won't need them every day of this experience, but I'd prefer not to use them too much if we don't have to.
There's obviously a spectrum of what does sustainability look like when camping, when backpacking, and I think that we try our best to choose the more sustainable option where we can.
It's an interesting time to be a consumer with sustainable products because a lot of them are marketed as sustainable, but you don't really know unless you dig pretty deep. Like, again, that's saying 100% biodegradable. We don't really know what that means, or wipes that say even flushable, for example. Like, that they can go down the drain, but do they actually work in the plumbing system? No. And so there's a lot of research you have to do when buying sustainable products, even with like compostable trash bags. Like, what does compostable really mean in the context of actually composting this trash bag?
We have a compost bin that it got too cold over winter, so it's getting very full, and now it's really hot, and now the bugs are a mess. And so there are different things that we try to do that don't necessarily work functionally, but there's also a lot of innovation in the space, which is super exciting. And so, again, I want to be careful name dropping things, but there's a counter composter that we really want, but it's like $500. So
it's a premium experience for composting,
and it's unfortunate that so much of the sustainability space is at that premium level. We have some homies who have created a sustainable marketplace where they help small businesses who are working towards creating more sustainable products have a platform to share them with the world, and we love them. We buy a lot of different stuff from there, and every time I go on there, I'm spending so much money, and they know this. We love them, and I'm like, friends, I can't keep doing this, but
it's
I do.
Too exciting because there's a lot of really good products.
About stuff, and so when we were finally buying everything for the road trip, we're like, oh my gosh, we gotta go do the haul. So yeah.
Bod Pods have been a good one.
Yeah, Bod Pods are good. We said no name dropping.
We didn't name the company name. Bod Pod could mean anything, but they're basically.
I think that
it's so.
Is that not the brand?
It's the product from the brand that we have not named.
But they're these little capsule things of soap, but it's soap that's, again, I don't know what this means, but it's soap that's not harmful to the environment. In these little degradable little packets. It's like a Tide Pod for your body.
Yeah, and the packet is made with, I'm pretty sure, like kelp or some kind of marine plant, but it works really well, and it's great for something like this, where if you're showering out of your car, you just pop one in your hand, get it a little wet, it explodes, you wipe it all over.
Very lathery, we like it.
And so we've been using those both on camping trips and just at home. Shower and conditioner bars are two other things that we brought that have been pretty nice, and they're more popular now than they've ever been, but there are a few that are pretty bad depending on your hair type, and so we've tested the waters with a few.
And there's finally like a curly brand that does conditioner and shampoo bars. They have a conditioner bar, a co-wash bar, a shampoo bar, and a leave-in bar, and they're okay. I'm pretty impressed, as I'll prioritize getting them over another product, even if it means a slightly less good hair day, because that's just what I've chosen to do for myself, you know? And so they're better than any other shampoo bar that I've tried because they're a curly hair brand, but we shall see how it goes.
And it's hard because a lot of the toiletry, beauty
industry? Is that what it's called?
I guess, yeah, the shower, the stuff you put in your bathroom to keep yourself clean. That whole marketplace is all plastic. Mm-hmm. Most of the plastic we have in our homes is related to some kind of like shampoo or soap.
Yeah, the shampoo bars, we were all excited. We were like, yay, we got our shampoo bars, but the containers we had to get to make sure that the bars didn't make a mess everywhere were plastic. And they were hard plastic at that. And so we tried our best. And then
it gets into the conversation of, it's still better than single-use plastic. Mm-hmm. If you use it for years, then it's like better, but I still would rather not at all. It's a fun time to find all this new stuff.
There are 2 speed limit signs, and one says 40 and one says 25, and they're less than 50 yards from each other. What does this mean?
Slow down.
Where are we going, bro?
Yeah, I have no idea where we're going.
Stevie is the worst co-pilot, everybody. You heard it here first. Is this a doggy? Hi, dog.
Oh, it's a dog in the road. So this is Baker. It's a really small town right outside of the national park.
Friend, what are you doing? Hi, Mama.
I don't know if we should check on small town dogs because I'm assuming this is just like a dog that knows where it's going.
Hi, mama dog.
Okay.
Are you good, bro?
Let me get us.
I hate this. I am actually known for... Open up your door. If this dog hops in here, we're going to figure out what to do.
Hey, you good? How's it going?
Hi, doggy.
Hi.
Are you good?
Okay, she's going that way now.
Okay, bye, big mama.
Bye.
Oh my god, you're so cute. Walter, shut up. Okay. Okay, bye, big doggy.
It's a nice dog. Okay, so we're... The battery just fell on my knee.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're making a left.
Yes, which makes sense.
That was an exciting experience.
Yeah, there's dog, knee.
My knee.
I'm turning though, so I need you to hold the box again.
Okay, the box came unplugged from the camera, so hopefully it doesn't die. But we're at 41 minutes.
It might be time.
It might be time. Because we gotta start going through some new places that are probably gonna be less interesting.
Stop! Don't say that.
Okay.
So bye bye Baker. Bye bye to you all.
Great Basin. Peace out. The next time you see us, we will no longer be in Nevada. We will be probably in Idaho.
And actually, we might be in Montana.
Or if not, Montana. So thanks for being on the road with us today. We hope you had a good time. Again, if you have any questions that you want us to talk about, topics, or you have any ideas for us to make this a more enjoyable experience for all, that would be great, because we are just messing around here and we truly don't have a format for this. So, bye.